Hello everyone. In last video, we discussed another standard signal, that is unit impulse signal. So continuing in that, let us discuss the another standard signals. So the next is sinusoidal signal or a sinusoidal function. So in continuous time, mathematically, xt equals to a sine omega t plus phi is the another important standard signal, that is sinusoidal function, in which we know already that a is the maximum amplitude of the signal, omega is the angular frequency, and phi is the phase angle of the signal. So graphically, so this is a sinusoidal signal from 0. Now this is the phase angle. Now phase angle over here, but it means that how much the signal is shifted from 0. That is, again, if you see the time shifting transformation, from that we can easily see that this phi is indicating that by how much it is shifted along the time axis, either towards the right hand side or the left hand side, depending on phase is positive or negative. And this is the maximum amplitude A, and if we see this is time period after which the signal is repeating itself, that is t equals to 2 pi by omega. Now this, in continuous time domain, all the sinusoidal signals are periodic in nature with time period t, that is given by 2 pi by omega, that is the angular frequency. This is in continuous time. In case of discrete time, the signal can be xn equals to a sine omega n plus phi. So here again, the maximum amplitude is a and the independent variable is n. So if we sketch this, the signal again looks like sinusoidal. Like this. So again, if you see the envelope, it is again the sinusoidal, and the maximum amplitude, if you consider, is a. So this is xn and n. So, but here the important thing is all discrete time sinusoidal signals are not periodic in nature. Here the important condition is that n equals to 2 pi by omega n into m. It is both n and m should be integer. That is 2 pi by omega, that is the ratio n by m, should be a rational number, right? Then only this will become a periodic in nature. That is that we will be discussing periodic and non-periodic signals. But here you should understand that in discrete time, because this, when it repeats after some time, that instant has also to be discrete. It cannot be any continuous value. So for that, this condition should be there, that 2 pi by omega should be a ratio of two integers, that is, it should be a rational number. So this is a sinusoidal signal or function. So now we move to the next category of the signal, that is real exponential signal. Real exponential signal in continuous time is defined as a e raised to power alpha t, where a and alpha both are real numbers. Now here a is the amplitude of the signal xt at t equal to 0, because at t equal to 0, whatsoever is alpha, that doesn't matter. It will become e raised to power 0, that is 1. So this will become a. Now this signal, depending on alpha, can be of 3 different types. First, if alpha is 0, this will become e raised to power 0, 1. So at all t, whatsoever is the value of t, xt will be simply a constant a. That is the first condition. Second, if alpha is greater than 0, so if you compute mathematically, you would find that this signal, it would be exponentially growing signal, and at t equal to 0, this magnitude would be a, right? And this would be exponentially growing signal if alpha is greater than 0. And thirdly, if alpha is less than 0, again, if you compute mathematically, and you can show that this signal would be exponentially decaying signal, and again at t equal to 0, the maximum amplitude, this would be a, right? So depending upon the 3 conditions of alpha, the continuous time real exponential signal, which is defined by a e raised to alpha t, can look like this: either a complete constant when alpha is 0, exponentially growing alpha greater than 0, exponentially decaying when alpha is less than 0. Now, in case of discrete time, because there is nothing like e raised to power some real number, that is not defined in case of discrete time. As we know, e is in value having nearly 2.3 kind of thing. That is a fraction, not an integer, so it cannot be defined. So in discrete time, the real exponential signal xn is mathematically given as a raised to power n, right? Where a is an integer. So again, depending on the values of a, this signal will have different shapes. Firstly, if a is positive and a is greater than 1, then what will happen? A is greater than 1 means a can be 2, 3, 4, anything, but integer, not a fraction. So what will happen? This will be 2 raised to power n, or 3 raised to power n, or 4 raised to power n. And if we draw it and mathematically see, at 2 raised to power, I suppose if a is 2, then this will be at 2 raised to power 0 would be 1, and then 2 raised to power 1, 2, 2 raised to power 2, 4, 2 raised to power 3, 8, like that. 2 raised to power minus 1, that is 1 by 2, 0.5, 2 raised to power minus 2, 0.25. So like that, this will be again exponentially growing signal when a is greater than 1. And suppose a is positive, but is lying between 0 and 1. That is a is 0.5, or say 1 by 2, 1 by 3, anything that is between 0 to 1. Then a raised to power n. This will look like exponentially decaying signal. Again at n equal to 0, this will be a raised to power 0 will be 1. But at other values, we can compute. So like this, it will be a exponentially decaying signal. When a is positive, less than 1, exponentially decaying, and when a is positive and greater than 1, it is exponentially growing. But if a is negative and a is less than -1, less than -1 means a is -2, -3, -4, like that kind of thing, it will be again it will be again exponentially growing, but the only thing is the magnitude will be alternatively positive and negative. Like suppose if a is 2, a is minus 2, so then minus 2 raised to power 0 would be 1, minus 2 raised to power 1 would be minus 2, so it would be negative, right, at 1, and at 2, minus 2 raised to power 2, that would be 4, positive, then again negative, again positive, like that. So if you look at this, on the positive side also this is exponentially growing, and on the magnitude side, on the negative side also it is exponentially growing. The only thing is that magnitude is alternatively positive and negative when a is less than minus 1. Same way, if a is less than 0, greater than minus 1, that is minus 1 by 2, then again it will be exponentially decaying, but with alternatively, again if I take minus 1 by 2, so minus 1 by 2 raised to power 0 would be 1, minus 1 by 2 raised to power 1 would be minus 1 by 2, right? So like this. So again it will be exponentially decaying on positive as well as the negative side. So that is when a is less than 0 and greater than minus 1. So in this discrete case, there are 4 different cases for real exponential signal. Alright, so that is all about the real exponential. Next is the complex exponential. The complex exponential in continuous time is defined as xt equals to a e raised to power st, where s is a complex number given by sigma plus j omega, right? Now, depending upon again sigma and j omega, different values of sigma and omega, this signal will have different shapes. Firstly, if omega is 0, then what it happens? This signal becomes same as a e raised to power sigma t, where sigma is real number, a is real number. So it behaves just like the earlier case of real exponential. That is, if sigma is 0, omega is 0, both are 0, this will become constant. If omega is 0, sigma is greater than 0, it will be exponentially growing. If sigma is less than 0, omega is 0, it will be exponentially decaying. So it will be exactly same if this is 0. Now, but if this is not 0, what will happen? Firstly, if sigma is 0, this function will become a e raised to power j omega t. Now, this can be plus minus, right? So that this can be plus minus, doesn't matter. So from Euler's identity, we know e raised to power j theta equals to what? Cos theta plus j sin theta. So that means it will be a sum of two sinusoidal signals. So this will look like it will simply look like a sinusoidal signal. This phase and timing, this will depend on again omega, and the magnitude will depend on a, right? But if sigma is 0, now if both are not 0, sigma is greater than 0, and we are having some value of omega. So what will happen? It is combination of two things. One is real part that is also greater than 0, and it is also having some imaginary part. Now, due to imaginary part, the signal will be having a shape of sinusoidal, but due to real part greater than 0, this will be exponentially growing signal. So this will look like this kind of curve. That is, it will be exponentially growing P on the both positive and negative side for sigma greater than. And if sigma is less than 0, and we have omega, so this will be exponentially decaying sinusoidal function. Like this. So again, if you look at the P, this is exponentially decaying, but because of a frequency term, imaginary term, this is having a shape of sinusoidal signal. That is the complex exponential signal. Same way, in discrete time, the signal would be defined by xn equals to a raised to power n cos omega n plus 5 plus j sin omega n plus 1. Right? So again, it is similar to that of real continuous time. In discrete time, this will happen. If omega is 0, this will behave as a raised to power n, the real exponential signal in discrete time. And if omega is not 0, then depending upon the combination of a and omega, it will be either exponentially growing sinusoidal or decaying sinusoidal. Clear? So that is in discrete time. So this is all about the complex exponential signal or function. So we will stop over here and we will continue with the another basic signals in the next class.